Hello everyone, this is part 16 of What If Naruto was exiled after he brought Sasuke back, and I hope you guys enjoy this video and to like, to subscribe, to share, and check out the playlist, to see more comment down below. Now let's start the intro.
They call me a god. They call me a god. They call me a god.
Join my membership, the perks are great. It's in the description. Be sure to like and subscribe, it gives me more motivation. Enjoy. Wave. Tazuna looked at the young man across from him and blinked. For nearly 10 minutes he looked at the blonde, then his eyes would drift to the tails. Tsunami upon waking had looked at Naruto and blushed and apologized. She said it just surprised her. Naruto smiled. Sorry for the scare. Just got used to be like this in the short amount of time, he said. You got used to seeing the others walking the streets without having to hide. Q said from his corner. Naruto shrugged. Listen, I'm sorry about showing up like this, but Micah's unconscious and I didn't know where to go. That's alright, kid, Tazuna said. It is good to see you. Tsunami brought out some bread and meat. We heard about your exile, we pulled our contracts from Konoha. The old bridge builder said. It wasn't Tsunade's fault. I learned recently that the council forged her signature and was behind it. Naruto said. I heard they were dealt with. Yeah. Reports of mass executions taking place reached us as well. Tazuna said. You've grown since I last saw you. He said. Well, it has been nearly 3 years, old man. Naruto said, nibbling on some of the food. The girl and guy with you trust them? Tazuna asked, ignoring his daughter's sounds of disapproval. Yeah. Micah is my brother in all but blood. Naruto was looking at the old bridge builder. I knew him from when I was younger and we were reunited after my exile. He saved my life. And the girl? Naruto smiled. She's bound to Micah. And yes, I trust her to do what's right. You can stay as long as you want. We'll always have a place for you here in Wave. You're our hero, Naruto. The blonde Hanyu smiled as his eyes shimmered. Thank you, Tazuna-sama. What's this Sama stuff, brat? I'm an old drunk, he said with a grin, and Naruto shared a smile. The door opened. Mom, I'm home. Inari entered the house and stopped several steps in. Naruto turned and smiled. Hey Inari, how you doing? The younger boy blinked. Whoa, and slumped to the floor in a faint. Naruto looked at the others in the kitchen. Why does everyone do that? 'Cause you're one sea beast. Q snarked and was thankful he was incorporeal as the roll passed through his head and Naruto growled at him. 10 minutes later Inari was sitting there looking at Naruto, his eyes wide. That is so cool, he said. Naruto laughed. See, can I? Naruto smiled and one of his tails slipped over the table and Inari touched it. Soft. Tsunami too stroked it and blushed as she looked at Naruto. See, Kit. Chicks and children dig the tails. Naruto shook his head. Do something useful and check on Micah. Ask Nami if she wants me to bring her something to eat. The shade nodded and slipped through the wall. That's the QB? Tazuna asked. Yeah, he's not so bad really. There were circumstances as to what happened to him. We've bonded over the last couple of years. Naruto said. He ate some more. So, any other news? He asked. Nami sat next to the bed. Her green eyes looking at the silver-haired teen. She couldn't explain it, but ever since he'd helped her back in the Valley of Mist, she'd felt something, a connection. She looked at the Hanzo sword leaning against the wall, and was surprised she felt nothing about trying to take it. What is it about you? She thought as she watched him sleep. She'd remained here after Naruto carried him up. I don't want to get in the way as he talks to his friends is all. She rationalized. Her green eyes once more drifted to the face of the young man. He's a Hanyu, I'm a nomad. Shaking her head she turned and saw the shade of QB rise through the floor. What is it? She asked. Nothing, child. Naruto wants to know if you want him to bring you something to eat, and ask about Micah. He's still unconscious, Nami said, her eyes going once more to the silver-haired teen. How are you holding up? I'm fine, she said. Why wouldn't I be? Nami asked. You care for him, you're attracted to him. QB said. I am not, Nami said. I barely know him. QB chuckled. Yet, your eyes can't leave him. You followed him across the frozen tundra, saved him from the lizard men and missed a dozen shots at him. You end up bound to him, and barely left his side since. Nami glared at him. Kyfyo Yakruma. Kyubi chuckled. I will not go away, and at times, yes I am an asshole. But as a demon lord, I am an honest asshole. Nami made a humphing sound and looked at Micah once more. He told me something prevented him from going further into the tombs. She said suddenly. Q sighed at this. I think it was Kami herself. Because there were dragon zates in the past. We passed numerous grave markers. Something was making him off balance. Kyubi watched as she reached out, her fingers touching his hair hesitantly. It's like spun silver, she said softly. Kyubi smiled. It will be interesting to see when he reaches his majority if he will be able to shape-shift like his ancestors. I'd bet my fangs he'd be a magnificent dragon. But he's not a full-blooded Hanyu. Nami said looking at the shade. I think he is now. Something about being in the Underverse has changed him. Watch as he uses his Kekkei Genkai with the wind. It's not just an element to him, it's an extension of his will. Nami looked at the teen. Vrid Lye2. What can you do? Stay by his side. He's going to need you in the times ahead. The battle for Suna is coming. The war for the hidden villages is at hand. Oh Togakur. Orochimaru looked up as the doors to his throne room opened. Ah, Sasuke-kun. Welcome back. Sasuke grew a bit in the time since his liberation from the Leaf Village. His hair was longer and hung past his shoulders. He wore black shorts and a black top similar to his old ones. He wore a long cloak and hood. His eyes were hard. The time to crush the leaf is at hand, he said with less emotion his brother used to have when they last spoke years ago. Soon Sasuke-kun. How went your unification of our allies? Orochimaru asked. Their leaders were weak. They were no challenge, Sasuke said as he paused and examined a map. You haven't managed to unlock the Mangekyo Sharingan yet, have you by chance? Orochimaru inquired. No, Sasuke said, and his tone of voice indicated that the discussion was closed. Perhaps when you case someone from Konoha, it will matter. Orochimaru said, his gaze side glanced at his protege. You received the summon contract? Orochimaru asked. Yes, Sasuke said. Good, you will be with me when this begins. Together we shall rule over them all. Tsunaga-kur. Hinata looked at Gaara. 100 ninja won't last long, Kazekage-sama. We don't need to last. Gaara said as he pointed at the map. Once the invasion force enters Suna, they won't be leaving. He looked at her. The desert keeps what it ks. This plan is risky, Neji said from where he was standing. I am needed for this to work. Gaara said, his tone broking no argument. Then you will allow Kakashi to stay by your side. Hinata said. Gaara looked at her. If he wasn't aware of her feelings for Uzumaki, he'd make a bid for her to be his wife. There was power in her that made him notice, and Shukaku had noticed it before the raccoon demon had been removed. This is non-negotiable, Kazekage-sama. Hinata said. Itachi and Kakashi's orders are your protection. And what of you, Lady Hinata? The sand user asked. I am outside your command, Gaara-sama. She said. Neji twitched. Tsunade had given him his orders as well. I am here to be the Hokage's eyes, and I have my own missions. She said. She shot Neji a look and he knew better than to say anything. Gaara looked at the map. Kankuro says the puppets and their users are in place. Anything else? He asked. We got 20 soldiers from Spring Country. Neji said. They are compliments of the princess, and she says she expects to hear from Naruto when this is over. Hinata looked at her cousin. She knew what the message from the ruler of the former Snow Country wanted, and Hinata was going to be damned if she let that L-star near Naruto now that he's noticed her. Dreamscape is real. The kiss was real. She kept repeating in her head. We'll use them during the retreat. Gaara said. Divide them up between teams. The others nodded. The rest of your village's scrolls has been secured and are on their way to Konoha. Lady Tsunade will make sure they are safe. Neji said, and Gaara nodded. Then there isn't much more we can do until the invasion begins. Hinata found her gaze going to the horizon. Naruto-kun, come soon. Wave. Naruto. Come quick. Nami's yell at the wee hours of the morning had the whole house showing up in the doorway to the room where Micah was sleeping. Naruto in sleep pants went to his knees as he looked at Micah, whose eyes were wide. He saw that Micah's left arm was covered with silver scales. What the hell? He looked at Kyubi. I can't explain it, Kit. He shouldn't be experiencing this until his 21st year, if ever. The former demon lord said, his eyes on the arm. Nami was sitting there in shock. When did it start? Naruto asked, ignoring Tazuna, Tsunami and Inari in the doorway. I don't know. I dozed off for a bit and woke up and saw that. Nami said, her eyes held tears. What's happening to him? Naruto looked at her like she was insane. He didn't have a clue, and looked at the only being who did. If he was older, I'd say he was coming into his majority. It's when dragon Hanus gain the ability to shapeshift to their dragon forms, but it seems to have stopped at his shoulder. Indeed, the scales halted the growth at Micah's left shoulder. Naruto rolled him onto his side and saw it was a smattering across his left shoulder blade. What will this do for him? Naruto asked, his tails waving in his anxiety. Kyuubi drifted closer. Well, he's going to be immune to a lot of attacks, his skin will harden. Q drifted around the other side and motioned for Naruto to roll Micah onto his back again. If he was of age, he'd be able to shift to his dragon form and gain abilities from that. What will this do to his wind abilities? The blonde nine-tail asked. Increase his power and control. Kyuubi said. Anything else? Well, he could be in season. Ha, City HK. Nami's eyes widened. Are you sure? Kyuubi shrugged. If he was of age, I'd say so. What does City HK mean? Naruto asked. Nami looked at him and she blushed. Rutting. His blood will burn with the urge to mate. Naruto blinked. How strong of urge will this be? He asked, looking at Kyuubi. He will search for a mate, and until he's, well, mated with her, he will see all other males as a threat. Dragons in this phase are mindless with just one thought. Nami stroked Micah's hair. It is called the Ponfar. It is a dangerous time for the dragons. Naruto blinked. If this happened, say, in Konoha, then he would have searched for a mate and, Nami said. Ked by the council. Kyuubi finished. If we were in the Underverse still, he would probably take his mate and make a den. You're making it sound like he's going to wake up a mindless S-maniac. Tsunami said from the doorway. Close. Kyuubi said. Kit, we might need to get him away from here. I'll stay with him. Nami said softly. Una ui China. Kyuubi asked, switching to Maida. Yes, he won't hurt me. Nami said, answering so the others understood. She turned her gaze to face Naruto. Put a seal on the room. Naruto swallowed. His eyes went to Nami. You don't have to. I am bound to him, she said. If not I, then who? Her gaze went to Tsunami. Put a seal tag on the door and window, she said, speaking to Naruto. Q ran a ghostly hand over his face and sighed. We could be worrying for nothing. Truthfully, we should wait till he wakes up and then. Would you shut up? Some of us are trying to sleep. A sleep-laden voice growls. Everyone turns to see Micah roll over. Whatever crisis can wait till the morning. Naruto and the others' sweat dropped. Kyuubi chuckled. Well, it looks like we have some answers. He turned to Tazuna and his family. Sorry for the scare. We'll be leaving in the morning now that the kit's awake. I ain't a kit fuzz but. Micah growled and his eyes opened. Whoa, Naruto said. What? Micah asked, sitting up with a groan, and why do I feel like I was punted across Solid Anu and landed in the spider swamp? Forget that, why are your eyes different? Naruto asked. What do you mean? Micah asked. The whites have turned red and the gold irises have SS. Nami said, looking at them carefully. They look more draconian. Micah went to brush his bangs aside and froze, seeing his hand. The F was a silver hue and from the back of the hand up it was covered with scales. The fingertips had black claws. What the hell? He looked at the others. What happened to me? We think, and by we I mean me, think this is caused by when the darkness took your ability to use Vunla. Q spoke, his face thoughtful. It sped up certain chemicals in your anatomy and whatever. Micah said as he saw his other arm was normal as was the rest of him. It didn't spread. Tazuna looked at his family and they slipped back to their rooms. Inari could be heard grumbling about not seeing a raving S-monster. Micah looked at the others and Nami explained what they'd talked about while he was unconscious. He sighed and nodded when she was done. Mom wasn't certain if I would even go through this, but it's years early. He looked at Q. You really think the darkness did this to me? Could it have been intentional? Kyuubi shrugged. Maybe. I'm not about to insult Kami's darkness. He's her enforcer in many things, and the demon lords would be hard-pressed in combat to beat him. I didn't say anything about insulting. Micah touched the scaled arm. I feel it like it was skin. It is skin, Nami said. I doubt even Naruto's mechadisciple can cut dragon scales. Wait, you said that the only thing that could stop one of my blades was another blade. Well, dragon scales, and I think the Hanzo sword. It is forged by a fallen angel after all. Q said with a shrug. Naruto smiled. Great, means we can spar once more. QB laughed at the look on both boys' faces. Hopeless, the both of you. Naruto and Micah shared a grin, then Micah looked at his scale-covered arm once more. This is so weird. Like having 9 tails above my butt ain't. Naruto shot back. Micah conceded the point and flexed his clawed hand. Don't feel different, it's just there. Let me know if it spreads. We'll need to make arrangements. Micah nodded and sighed. Suppose it's back to sleep. Yes, we leave in the morning for Suna. Oh Togakur. We march on Suna tomorrow. Orochimaru said looking at the map. Danzo, Sasuke, Sai and Sakura were around him. Most of those he trusted or were of use were from the sound. Danzo had been a loyal servant and partner, and he found the Haruno girl to be bright, if not strange with her talking to herself. Sai was loyal to Danzo, he was certain. His gaze fell on Sasuke. Of all the allies in the room, he has the most potential and is also the least loyal. My seal on him is my one guarantee that he can't betray me, and even that might not be enough. The former Snake Sanin thought. The troops are ready, Danzo said, and with the summons from Sasuke's united villages we shall crush them. Orochimaru smiled. Sasuke had uncovered several powerful summons. Lions, bears, golems were the most useful. There were also bees, salamanders, and the Toro contracts. Orochimaru smirked at the thought of having a stampede of bulls tear through the defenses of Konoha. Yes, they shall be most helpful. Make sure they are spread out with multiple uses. Danzo bowed his head. Sakura, report. The pink-haired Kunoichi looked at Sasuke a moment. The medic teams are set up. I have 3 more prepared per your requests, Lord Orochimaru. Ku. Good. Very good. Sunagakur. Hinata sat watching the horizon. Our spy has reported in. She turned to see Kakashi walking up. Orochimaru plans to attack tomorrow. The genin said. Hinata looked at his eyes. He looked so different without the one eye covered. I am sorry, she said after several moments. He saw where she was looking and shrugged. You freed me, he said, and at her look he explained. For too long I lived in the past. I wasn't living for myself, I was living for Obito. I let myself fall into the same trap many with the Sharingan fall into. I became too Sai in my own abilities and thought it made me better. He looked out over the horizon. You know, when I first took Team 7 on, Naruto never gave up. Sasuke was too much like me when I was his age, too sure, too Sai. Naruto, however, despite poor training, gave me everything he had, and all I did was mock him. He looked at Hinata. I'm afraid, Kakashi admitted. What will he say when he comes back? Will you be the instrument of my death? Hinata shook her head. I don't think it's in Naruto to hold a grudge. He might never call you sensei again, or be as trusting as he once was, but he will forgive you. She smiled, in his own unique way. Kakashi shuddered. He's going to prank me. You complaining? Hinata asked, raising an eyebrow. No, Kakashi said, and his eye became the familiar U, indicating he was smiling behind his mask. I'll take whatever I can from Naruto. Konoha's been too quiet without him around. Hinata agreed. Her mind recalled how he looked and she smiled as she recalled how his skin felt beneath her fingers. Kakashi watched as a small trickle of blood leaked from Hinata's nose. Thinking of Naruto. Could I pick on her? No, actually that would probably end up with me ending up like Hiashi. Hinata shook herself after a moment and wiped the blood from her nose. She looked and saw Kakashi was looking towards the horizon. Thank Kami. He would have said something and I'd have to retaliate. No one picks on me nor Naruto. Too many times in the past. She thought as her mind flashed to the many memories she'd seen from those she'd administered the penance stare, or the mind links she performed. No one will be allowed to insult Naruto anymore. He's been abused too much as is. Hinata thought as she turned back to the horizon. Oh Togakur. The sun was rising over the horizon as Orochimaru, dressed in his battle gear, looked over the Sound Village where the troops were gathering. He smiled as he thought about the events that would be happening. His troops were set to march, and this time there would be no stupid old men with a forbidden jutsu to save the Sand and Leaf villages. Sarutobi-sensei, your wall of fire will be extinguished and I shall rule the world. His serpent-like eyes picked out the Haruno girl. He sneered seeing her in battle armor near Sasuke. Her request that she be allowed to harvest Sasuke's seed. Flashback. Lord Orochimaru. Yes, Haruno. The snake Sannin said from his throne. I have a request, she said, going to one knee. And that would be? Orochimaru asked, his curiosity piqued as she rarely spoke to him without Danzo present. I be allowed to harvest the Uchiha's seed. I found Kabuto-sama's notes, I know what you are planning to do. The leader of the Sound Village tensed. I could care less what you do, but if I can harvest his seed, I could, with Kabuto-sama's notes, prepare more B. What do you mean, Haruno? Orochimaru asked. I could, with the notes and experiments Kabuto-sama left, create you an army of clone B. Gestation would take 2 to 3 years for a mature body once I have the proper materials. Orochimaru studied the pink-haired girl. You came to me, you didn't mention this to Danzo. Sakura snorted. Danzo has his own plans. Most of which include double-crossing you, by the way. Orochimaru looked at the pink-haired girl. Why? Why betraying your master? Money, power, job security. Sakura said, speaking each work, her eyes locking on Orochimaru. You pay me a small fortune, take it from one of the villages you wipe out, I don't care. Power, you keep getting me scrolls on medical knowledge and I'll make your former teammate look like a rookie genin when I'm done. And job security, you aim to be immortal, I want to be by your side. I thought you wanted Sasuke-kun. Orochimaru said after a moment. Sakura snorted. I wanted power and prestige. He's going to be filling a body bag or you'll be wearing his body soon. He's nothing but a whiny bee. My brother ked my family. Boo Fing Hu. Orochimaru smiled. I'll give you your conditions, Sakura Haim. You follow through with your end and you will be very wealthy, and I promise you everything you ask for. I'll even give you slaves to experiment on. Sakura smiled. Then we've reached an accord. She extended her hand and Orochimaru shook it. I love people who know what they want. End flashback. Orochimaru looked at Danzo in his battle gear, surrounded by his root Anbu. Fool. You'll be soon after the leaf falls. You bid for power will be cut short. And all it cost me was you head on a platter and Sakura given a village full of test subjects. Orochimaru looked at Sasuke. He just needs the right person to K and his Sharingan will be to the final stage. But even if that don't happen, his body is prime for other things. Lord Orochimaru. A masked Sound Nin asked on one knee. Give the order. Move 'em out, he said, his gaze lingering on Sasuke for a moment more. Sand and Leaf will fall, this, I command. Wave. Nami woke to find the room empty. She looked out the window and saw Naruto and Mika in the backyard. Idiots, she said as they were fighting. Mika blocking Naruto's chakra blades with the Hanzo sword and she nearly screamed seeing his scaled arm intercept a blade. Her breath caught as the arm reflected the blade and the two continued on, their speed increasing as they started to fight atop the stream behind the house. Their movements barely leaving ripples on the water's surface. Something to see, aren't they? Nami looked over her shoulder to see Q in the doorway. Does anything keep 'em down? She asked. Not sure yet. They remind me of this one rabbit demon I knew. Energizer was energetic to the point where Shukaku was ready to declare war on him. Nami was quiet. You mentioned Shukaku before. Mika has told me in our talks that you keep switching calling Shukaku male and female. Q chuckled. I was waiting for one of the kids to ask. Nami looked at him. Well, I'm asking. And I'm waiting to hear from one of them. Their expressions will be something to see. Nami growled and Q laughed. Tsunami has breakfast nearly ready. Wash up. I'll get the two knuckleheads. We leave after we eat. Nami watched him pass through the wall and float down to the yard. Naruto laughed and spun like a top, the Mechadiscipen blades humming and Mika blocked them with the Hanzo sword and kicked him back. Come on Scales, is this the best you got? Naruto taunted. Mika smirked and went on the offensive with a series of slashes. Listen up Tails, you got 2 energy blades and they aren't helping you at all. Micah spun and the blade went in an upward arc and Naruto crossed his blades in an X formation and Micah smirked and brought his knee up between the locked blades and caught Naruto on the chin. Micah smirked. Search your feelings. Use your Vunla enhanced senses. Micah said. He's right, Kit. You're holding back. Master. Micah said with a smirk. Fuzz butt. You're up early. Naruto said, gaining his feet and deactivating the energy blades. Breakfast. We're leaving after. He looked at Micah. You okay? Feel great. At peace actually. The silver-haired Hanyu said. Naruto felt the slight breeze and saw that Micah's eyes were closed. The air seemed to caress him and he saw his brother open his eyes. Naruto smirked. The more we change, the better we become. Micah said. No regrets. Naruto extended his hand. Take what we can. Give nothing back. Micah said, clasping his forearm. Q put a ghostly hand on the joined arms. Fox and Dragon. The world is doomed. Naruto laughed. Only when we listen to you. They headed for the house, their enhanced sense picking up the smell of breakfast. We have to come back here when we're settled up in Konoha. Micah said. Naruto nodded. Maybe bring Hinata here for a bit. He thought as they entered Tazuna's house. Konoha. Damn it. Tsunade said as she looked at the reports. Civil war. She said looking down at the fighting on the streets. We have reports that Orochimaru has begun his march on Suna, and we have infighting here in Konoha. Lady Tsunade. Shizune yelled entering the room. They released the Harunos, and took the southern armory. Get Anko and her squad there now. Tell them no prisoners, we don't have that luxury now. Shizune nodded and rushed to do as ordered. Tsunade looked at Chum Inuzuka. Your dogs are outfitted. Yes, and I have the clan's wolf and dog contracts distributed to all who can use them. The clan leader said. Damn the civilians. Tsunade said, reading the report on her desk. We have Orochimaru knocking on our doors, and they pull this now. They know Hinata is out of the village and they figure this is their best chance to take over. Tsunade snorted. I don't need Hinata to be my enforcer. But I think I was too lenient. She looked at the pictures of past Hokages. My family has given so much to this village, I don't think it's been worth it anymore. Tsunade turned, seeing several Anbu appear. Take 4 squads and eliminate the insurgents. We can no longer put up with this foolishness. This is wartime and their actions are those of treason. No survivors. The Anbu vanished. She looked at Anko. No one gets out of the southern sector. Anko put on her mask. As you command, Lady Hokage. She too vanished in a twirl of leaves. I hate my job, Tsunade said. Hanabi, she called. Yes, Lady Tsunade, the clan leader of the Hyuga inquired. Get 6 of your people on the southern gate wall. They are to make sure no one hides. Hanabi nodded and left. This village makes it so hard to care about when they pull us like this. Tsunade said. Maybe I should pull the shinobi out and let Orochimaru destroy the village. Chum looked at the 5th Hokage in shock. It's just buildings and land. As long as they're a loyal ninja, the leaf can't s. Tsunade said to the Inuzuka clan head. Lady Tsunade. Aruka entered dressed in a Junin vest. The Suna civilians have been evacuated to the caves in the mountain. He reported. Start evacuating the west sector. She said. Post the Genin teams along the way to act as guard. Aruka nodded. Have Konohamaru and his team posted as guards at the entrance. Aruka paused. He won't like that. I don't care. Tsunade said. If that brat gets ked, Naruto will never forgive me. Tell Ebisu to keep a close eye on him and not let them sneak off. Aruka nodded and left. I am so tempted to make someone else Hokage and just worry about the hospital. Tsunade muttered. Picked a hell of a time to quit drinking, Lady Tsunade. Chum said. I haven't drank since Naruto was exiled. Of course I find that I've been a lot more by since then as well. Chum shook her head. You need a man, Tsunade. The blonde Hokage snorted. I've got Jiraiya, she said, and the Inuzuka clan leader looked at her in surprise. Don't look at me like that. I do have needs and urges like any other woman. But, he's so perverted. Chum said. Yeah, and the things he can do. Tsunade said with a smirk as she studied the map. We'll need some of your dogs along the retreat for Gaara and his teams. I want you to have them join up and help with the hit and runs. Chum nodded. I'll put Hana in charge, she said, to which the Hokage nodded. You'll join the last evacuations and act as guard, Tsunade told her. And where will you be, Lady Tsunade? Chum asked. Bashing in Orochimaru's head, the blonde Hokage said. Between Wave and Suna, Yahoo! Nami watched as Micah used his wind manipulation to juggle Naruto higher and higher. Shouldn't we be moving at a quicker pace? She asked as Naruto cleared the tree tops. She's right, Kit. Kyuubi said. It had been an emotional goodbye and they'd left with a promise to come back soon to visit. Naruto came down his tails behind him and Micah caught him before he hit the ground with a cushion of air. We're almost to Suna's border. Naruto nodded. It'll be like walking the Ester Sands, he said to Nami. Naruto paused. Fox, he said. What is it, Kit? I'm not sure. I feel, it's a buzz in the back of my mind. Your Vunla senses are warning you of danger. Q said. Micah looked at him and with a whoosh was airborne and rocketed straight up. He can fly. Nami said. Yeah. He's gotten way stronger. Naruto said. They watched him as he seemed to look in each direction. He finally came down and gently touched down. There is a large army coming from the north. They are headed towards Suna. Micah said. Can we beat them there? Naruto asked. Micah looked at Q. We can, but you'll need to hold on to me, and Master Q will be left behind. It. I'll catch up. Micah nodded and motioned for Nami and Naruto to hold on to him. Breath normally, he said, and Nami screamed as they rocketed into the air. Naruto, Kyuubi could see, was grinning like mad. Adrenaline junkies, both of them. The shade muttered and went as fast as he could. Damn the darkness for leaving me powerless. He muttered, thinking of what he could have done to aid his charges. On the horizon he could hear the sound of a large army on the move. Sunagakur. Lord Kazekage, outer scouts report Orochimaru's forces have entered the desert. Asuna Nin reported. Sound the alert. Gaara said. Prepare for battle. Gaara turned to the others in his office. Remember, we lure them in and the puppet squads will perform their tasks. Keep your squads together and we'll retreat in waves. The others nodded. Kakashi and Itachi stepped up next to Gaara, who looked at them. Fine, he said, more of a growl, and Hinata left out the window to find her own group. She'd assigned herself to Team 9 along with a couple of Suna Nins. I'm excited. Is it because of the coming battle, or the thought of opening up on those who did Naruto harm? Neither, little one. You know those you want will be the last ones in. We'll need to be careful till we meet them in battle. Focus on the now, and worry about the pink-haired whore and the Uchiha for later. Hi. Vengeance and war, both are good for business. Hinata thought to the spirit of vengeance in the back of her mind. She reached her position and Neji passed her the armor they'd gotten from Spring. It's warm, but it will be useful, Neji said, seeing her distasteful look. Hinata entered the building and came out several minutes later, the armor under her clothes. Today we show the sound that flames of Suna and Konoha, Lee said. Neji smiled at the taijutsu master. Lee was wearing a modified Anbu armor over his own chakra armor. Gone was the green bodysuit from his youth. He also sported knuckle gloves with spikes on the back. Seeing Hinata's look, he smiled. Gift from Ten-chan. He flexed his fingers and the leather of the glove creaked a bit. They suit you, Lee-kun, Tenten said, stepping out. She was wearing the chakra armor under a modified outfit from her youth. Her hair was in her buns, and they held several spikes in them. No prisoners, Neji said to the others. A pair of Suna Nins joined them. Hinata looked at them as well. Neji-sama is in charge. Don't look to me for orders here, Hinata said, and the two looked a bit surprised. But, you're the Hokage's apprentice, one said. Neji has more practical field command experience, Hinata said. Neji nodded and smiled to his cousin. Remember, don't set the explosives off till you're ordered to, he reminded them. We want as many of them in the streets as possible. Tenten flexed her hands and the Pantera claws slid out with her SNIKT sound. Hinata watched as the weapons mistress stretched and flexed with the claws before they slipped back into their forearm sheaths. Lee was bouncing from foot to foot with anxious energy and Neji was leaning against the wall. Now, we wait for the signals, he said, his eyes closed. Damn it, Micah. Faster, Naruto snarled as they cut low over the dunes. That advance party will beat us there. I'm working on it, Naruto, Micah said. We need to inform them of the larger force coming after, Nami said, clutching her bow. We should make it in time, but we might be attacked beforehand, Micah said as he increased the air around them to spin faster. They were kicking up huge tails of sand behind them as they zipped over the ground. Micah refused to go higher as they could be spotted by the sound advance guard. Look, Nami said and pointing. Another advance group. Naruto said. Damn that snake bastard. They'll get there first. Micah said, judging the distance. Can't you go faster? Nami asked. Can you lose weight? Micah muttered, and then his eyes widened as the king intent slammed into him. Tell me you did not just say what I think you said. Naruto said, his own eyes wide. Micah swallowed. I blame Kami. She's out to get me. Micah thought as his gold-red eyes to where he was holding Nami. Nami. N-O-O-O-O. Naruto. A-I-I-I-I-I-I-I-Y-E-E-E-E-E-E-E. Micah screamed as Nami started to strangle him. Nami, let him go. He didn't mean it, Naruto said as they were loosing altitude. Men must pay. She roared and bashed Micah over the head with her bow. Sadly, this had some consequences. 1. It had Micah lose his concentration. 2. Naruto and Nami fell to the sand below. 3. They landed in the middle of the first wave of enemy nins. Naruto got off the nin he landed on and looked around, his gaze landing on several of the Kumo and Iwa nins around him. Hey, nice day for a stroll, he said warily. I am going to K him, Nami said, getting to her feet. The nearby male nins took several steps back. Irate Kunoichi was something no one wanted to deal with. Naruto sighed seeing they were surrounded by nearly 80 ninja of Iwa and Kumo. Was so boned, he muttered. Sunagakur, what happened? Kankuro asked from his place on the wall. Something fell out of the sky and into the middle of their formation. It stopped them, Itachi said from his position next to Gaara. I swear I heard Naruto. Kakashi said, squinting over the desert. Signal the first group to get ready. This could be a trap. Gaara said, his own gaze locked on the swarm of enemy nins stopped 1,000 feet from the wall. Up in the air, Mikahamaru Melwasu looked down at the gathered ninja. I can't believe I did that, he muttered, rubbing his tea where Nami had throttled him. He saw that Naruto and Nami were in the middle of the nins and there was no escape routes open. Well, Master says we need to fix our mistakes, he muttered and gathered wind and chakra for an attack that he'd learned in Solid Anu. Goku was cool and this attack rocks, Micah thought as he pulled in more and more air and chakra. K.A. Nami and Naruto back to back, Nami holding the pair of short swords Micah had bought her and Naruto armed with a pair of kunai. I don't want to give away my big guns yet, he thought, his tails waving behind him. Look at what we have here, boys, a Kumo nin said, fingering a kunai of his own. He looks like a little Yondaime. An Iwa nin said, holding a spear in his hands. With fox tails, a Kumo nin said in puzzlement. K.A. was heard from above and Naruto's eyes widened. He remembered the day Micah learned that attack. Flashback. ESTERSANDS. I'm telling you, he's not from around here, Micah said, pointing to the unconscious figure they'd pulled from the sand pit. Yeah, but he's wearing orange. He can't be bad, Naruto agreed. Q sighed as the two apprentices insisted on helping the stranger who fell out of the sky while they were hunting. Fine, but if he goes insane and KSU, don't come crying to me, Q said, floating away. 3 days the stranger finally woke up and was hungry. Micah cooked a feast of meat and scavenged fruits from the desert plants while Goku told them he was on his way back to see Kami when he'd fallen off Snake Way. Naruto and Micah had spent time training with him around the desert, and the three had bonded over various things. It was when a sandworm had exploded up and tried to eat them when Goku showed him the Kamehameha attack. Naruto and Micah had asked him how to do it, and it was nearly time for them to return to Solid Anu with Kyuubi when Micah got it down first, leveling a small mesa to powder. Goku had regained his strength and flew up into the clouds, and they returned to the capital of the Undervis. End flashback. OS. Naruto said. MA. was heard from above. He looked at the surrounding nins. I take it back, he said. What back, brat? An Iwa nin sneered. We're not boned. You are. H.A.M.A.? Micah smiled as he felt the chakra and wind expand in his hands positioned at his hip like Goku had showed him. While he used chakra and Goku used pure spiritual energy, Micah thought the end results were the same. Look out below, he thought. H-A-A-A-A-A-A-A-A-A. The chakra blast swept from the heavens. Like a hand of God I smite thee down, Micah thought as the chakra blast hit the ninja forces between Suna and Naruto and Nami. Oh, whoops, he said, seeing the sand tidal wave rear up from the explosion. Naruto and Nami blinked as their vision was clearing from the explosion. OS, Naruto said, seeing the tidal wave of sand rearing up. Suna's defenders were in shock at the chakra blast from above, and they were all blinking trying to see, and when they did, many of the Suna nins cheered, seeing the sand wave rear up and topple upon the invaders before they even reached the city wall. They had been wiped out. All hail Lord Gaara. Hail Gaara chants filled the air. The Kazekage was looking out on the desert as the sand buried the ninja that had been moments ago near enough to attack his village. He looked at Itachi and Kakashi. Impressive, Kazekage, Kakashi said. It wasn't me, Gaara said. Mika's sonic boom shook the village as he'd increased his speed to sweep in and grab Naruto and Nami before the sand wave had crushed where they'd been just moments ago. He sighed in relief in reaching them before the sand. You idiot, Nami raged. You could have ked us. Don't hit or choke me, we're over 100 feet up. Mika warned her. Yeah, and we won't have any enemy nin to land on, Naruto said, looking at the spot where they'd been. He looked at Mika. How about we inform Suna of the other advance group and the army after that? Mika nodded and they floated down. As they came closer to the wall, Naruto smiled, seeing Gaara. He couldn't help it. He gave his big grin and laughed. Hey Gaara, what's up? Well, love me, hate me, stone me, puts up barrier jutsu and childishly sticks tongue out. The battle for Suna begins in earnest next chapter. Yes, I finally added Goku to my growing list of celebrity pop-ups. No, sadly I don't own DBZ either. Naruto and Hinata moment coming next chapter. Honest, if I don't, I'll read 1000 stories before next I sleep. Explode. P.S. Check out an idea I had in Naruto Wing Commander My Stories. Below is an omake from here. OMAKE. Hinata watched the explosion from her position with Team 9. Naruto-kun. It has to be. She thought of everything she would say to him the moment she saw him. In her mind's eye she was kissing him, and she remembered a scene from one of the books she'd confiscated from Kakashi early on in his time on her genin team. She blushed at some of the mental images of what she could do to Naruto and have him enjoy his ramen at the same time. Lee and Tenten looked, and as Neji was being choked by Hinata, who had her arms wrapped around her softly spoken, "Oh, Naruto-kun, you like your ramen like that, do you?" Followed by her giggle and Neji gasping for air and cursing himself for dozing off against his cousin's shoulder. End omake. That will be all for this video. Be sure to like, subscribe, share, and comment down below for more videos. Goodbye.